The I Ching's wealth wisdom, from ancient insights to modern financial freedom. Chapter 3. Zhen Xun seizing opportunities, adaptability and networks. Zhen, thunder, embracing change and turning crises into opportunities. Zhen is the hexagram of thunder to solid lines at the bottom, with 4 broken lines above. Like a thunderclap that shakes the ground, it represents sudden change, crises, and new growth. Zhen doesn't tell us to fear change. It tells us to embrace it in the context of wealth. Zhen is about adaptability because the world is always changing, and if you don't change with it, you get left behind. Thunder is sudden and loud, but it's also a sign of renewal. After a thunderstorm, the air feels fresh, and plants grow faster. Similarly, Zhen teaches us that crises and sudden changes, whether it's a pandemic, a job loss, a market crash, or a new technology that disrupts your industry, are not the end. They're opportunities to reset, rethink, and grow in ways you never imagined. Zhen's energy is about shaking things up. It's about letting go of old ways of doing things that are no longer serving you, and being open to new ideas even if they scare you. Zhen doesn't ask you to rush into change. It asks you to be present with the chaos, trust that it's leading to something better, and take action when the time is right. Real story. Maria, 42, owned a small Italian restaurant in Chicago called Mama Maria's for 10 years. It was her pride and joy, a cozy spot with red checkered tablecloths, homemade pasta, and regulars who felt like family. She'd inherited the restaurant from her mother, who started it in the 1990s, and she ran it the same way, cash only, no online ordering, no social media. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, her mother used to say, and for 10 years, it worked. The restaurant was busy every night, and Maria was making a comfortable living. Then, in 2020, the pandemic hit. The government shut down indoor dining, and Maria's sales dropped by 90%. She tried offering takeout, but since she didn't have a website or social media presence, only a handful of regulars knew about it. She laid off her 3 employees, and she was on the verge of closing, something she'd never imagined. "I thought I'd lose everything," she says. "My mother built this restaurant with her bare hands, and I was going to let it fail. I stayed up all night crying, wondering how I'd pay the rent, how I'd survive." Maria's brother, Luca, who lived in Italy and ran a successful food blog, called her every day. "Remember the I Ching?" He said one night. Mom used to cast it when she was worried about the restaurant. Cast a hexagram mask for guidance. Maria hadn't thought about the I Ching since she was a kid, but she was desperate. She found her mother's old I Ching set in the back of a closet, followed the ritual, and got Zhen. "Zhen is thunder," Luca said over the phone. "It's loud, it's scary, but it clears the air. This crisis is shaking up your life, but it's not destroying it. It's giving you a chance to change, maybe even for the better." Mom ran the restaurant her way, but times have changed. You need to adapt. Maria was resistant at first. She loved her mother's traditions, the cash-only policy, the lack of social media, but she also loved the restaurant, and she didn't want to lose it. She decided to listen to Zhen and to Luca. "What do I have to lose?" she thought. First, she built a simple website with the help of a local college student who worked in exchange for free pasta. She added an online ordering system so customers could order takeout and delivery easily. Then, she created an Instagram account at Mama Maria's Chicago and started posting photos and videos of her making pasta, her famous meatballs, and the restaurant's cozy interior. She even started doing live cooking demos on weekends, teaching people how to make her mother's signature lasagna. But the biggest pivot came when a regular customer mentioned that she loved Maria's pasta sauce so much, she wished she could buy it by the jar. That's when it clicked. Maria says, "I couldn't do indoor dining, but I could sell my sauce online. People loved it, why not share it with more people?" She started making large batches of her sauce, jarring it, and selling it on her website. She posts videos of herself making the sauce using her mother's secret recipe, with fresh tomatoes, garlic, and basil from her backyard garden. She offered free shipping to local customers, and soon, people were ordering jars by the dozen. She even started selling frowning portions of her lasagna and canned with her most popular dishes. At first, it was slow. She only sold a few jars of sauce a day, but over time, which spread, her Instagram followers grew. Local food bloggers started featuring her sauce, and customers post photos of their homemade pasta with Mama Maria's sauce. She started shipping sauce to customers all over the country, people who'd grown up in Chicago and missed the taste of authentic Italian food, or people who'd never been to the restaurant but loved good sauce. 6 months later, indoor dining reopened, but Maria's sauce business was still going strong. Today, the sauce and frowning meals account for 40% of her revenue. She rehired her employees, and she even expanded the restaurant's kitchen to keep up with the sauce demand. Zhen taught me that change isn't the enemy. Maria says, "It's a chance to grow." If the pandemic hadn't happened, I never would have started the sauce business. I would have kept doing things the old way. And eventually, the restaurant would have struggled because times change and people's habits change. Now, I'm more financially secure than I've ever been. I have 2 streams of income, and I'm sharing my mother's recipe with people all over the country. That's the gift of Zhen. It forces you to adapt. And in doing so, you find new opportunities you never would have noticed. How to use Zhen in your life. See crises as reset buttons. When a crisis hits, job loss, market crash, business slowdown, ask yourself, what's this crisis asking me to let go of? What new opportunity is it creating? For example, if you lose your job, maybe it's a chance to switch careers to something you love. If your business is struggling, maybe it's a chance to pivot to a new product or service. Embrace small shakes. You don't have to wait for a crisis to adapt. Zhen's energy is about constant renewal. Ask yourself, what old habits, beliefs, or systems are holding me back? It could be a job that no longer fulfills you, a budget that's too restrictive, or a mindset that money is hard to come by. Let go of one small thing this week and see what new opportunities come your way. Be open to new ideas. Zhen is about being flexible. Don't hold on to old ways of doing things just because they're familiar. If a friend suggests a new side hustle, or a colleague recommends a new investment strategy, give it a chance. You don't have to commit to everything, but be open to exploring. Trust the chaos. Change is messy. When you're in the middle of a crisis or a big pivot, it will feel like everything is falling apart. But Zhen reminds us that thunderstorms pass and new growth comes. Shuin, wind, building networks, and the power of connection. Shuin is the hexagram of wind to broken minds at the bottom, with 4 solid lines above, like wind that blows gently but persistently. It represents influence, networks, and the power of connection. Shuin reminds us that wealth isn't built alone. The people we know, mentors, friends, colleagues, customers can open doors, share opportunities, and help us grow in ways we never could on our own. Wind is so but powerful. It doesn't force its way through. It flows around obstacles, spreads seeds, and connects distant places. Similarly, Shuin teaches us that building a network isn't about showouncing or collecting business cards. It's about building genuine relationships based on trust, respect, and mutual value. It's about being generous with your time, expertise, and resources, and trusting that the wind of connection will bring opportunities back to you. Shuin's energy is about flowing with others. It's about listening more than talking, giving more than taking, and being authentic in your interactions. When you build genuine connections with people who share your values and goals, wealth flows naturally through referrals, partnerships, job offers, or investment opportunities. Real story. Alex, 30, worked as a graphic designer at a small marketing agency in Portland. He was telling Ted he graduated top of his class from art school, and his portfolio was impressive, but he felt stuck. He'd been at the agency for 3 years, and he hadn't gotten a promotion or a raise. He was stuck doing small projects, designing social media graphics, updating websites while his colleagues got to work on big brand campaigns. I thought if I worked harder, someone would notice. He says, I stayed late, took on extra projects, never complained, but nothing changed. I felt invisible. A friend who worked in marketing, Maya, noticed his frustration. You're approaching this all wrong. She said, you're like a tree that's growing alone in a field no one can see you. You need to connect with people, not in a fake way, genuine connections. Have you ever heard of Shuin, the I Ching hexagram of wind? Alex shook his head. Maya explained, Shuin is wind. It's about flowing with others, building relationships, and letting your influence grow naturally. You're talented, but talent isn't enough. People hire, promote, and collaborate with people they know and trust. You need to get out there and build your network, not to get ahead, but to connect with people who love design as much as you do. Alex was resistant at first. He hated networking. The idea of going to events and making small talk with strangers made him cringe. But Maya assured him, Shuin isn't about networking. It's about building community. Find people who share your passion and connect with them authentically. Talk about your work. Ask about theirs. Offer to help. The rest will follow. Alex decided to try. First, he joined an online community of graphic designers called Designers United. He started sharing his work, not just his finished projects, but his process, his mistakes, and his learnings. He commented on other people's work, offering constructive feedback and encouragement. He even started a thread about overcoming creative block, which sparked a lively conversation. Next, he started attending local design events, not to show-ouncy, but to meet people face to face. He'd walk up to someone whose work he admired, introduce himself, and say, I loved your recent project for X company. How did you approach the color palette? He focused on asking questions, not talking about himself. He found that when he was genuinely curious about others, the conversation flowed easily. One day, he saw a post on Instagram from Sarah, a senior designer at a big agency in Seattle whose work he'd admired for years. She was asking for recommendations for a designer to help with a freelance project. Alex commented, "I love your work, would be happy to help if you're still looking. Here's my portfolio." He didn't expect a response, but a few hours later, "Sarah DM, your work is awesome," she wrote. "Come we hop on a call." They had a coffee chat over Zoom, and Sarah hired him for the freelance project. Alex worked hard, went above and beyond, delivering the project early and offering extra design options. When the project was done, Sarah said, "I'm really impressed with your work. We're hiring a senior designer at my agency. Would you be interested in interviewing?" Alex interviewed, and he got the job. Today, he's working on big brand campaigns for clients like Nike and Patagonia, and he's making 30% more money than he was at his old agency. Xun taught me that wealth isn't just about what you know, Alex says. It's about who you know and how you treat them. I didn't show ouncy or beg for favors. I just made genuine connections with people who loved the same thing I did. I shared my work, helped others, and was curious about their journeys. That's the power of Zhen. It's not about taking, it's about flowing. When you build genuine relationships, opportunities come to you naturally. Key takeaway from Zhen Xun: wealth is about adaptability and connection. Zhen and Xun work together to help you seize opportunities.
本音频由魔音工坊 AI 生成。